Good morning. We're going to kick this off. Good morning and welcome to Harding Hall in our tradition each year of honoring our veterans. It's good to see everyone here, and a special welcome to everybody who's joining us virtually. I'm the GPO's Chief of Staff, Steve LeBlanc, and I'm also a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I'll be serving as your Master of Ceremonies today. Before we begin, I would like to have everybody just notice and take a look at the chair to my left. It's an empty chair. It represents the prisoner of war missing in action, POW, MIA, empty chair placed at the front of our hall today. It's a physical symbol of the thousands of American POWs and MIAs that are still unaccounted for from all the wars and conflicts involving the United States of America. This is a reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of any American prisoners from captivity, the repatriation of the remains of those who died bravely in the defense of liberty, and a full accounting of those who are missing. Today is about honoring all of those who have served. We have an outstanding lineup of special guests, speakers, music, and other events that I'd like to start this morning by welcoming Mark Chandler for his second year in a row to sing America the Beautiful. Thanks, Mark.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriots' dreams in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than might. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. From sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Mark. Mark is a GPO employee and U.S. Army veteran. Please stand for the presentation of colors. GPO welcomes the Military District of Washington Armed Forces Color Guard.
Stand.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. Staff Sergeant Adam Struby of the U.S. Army Chorus will sing the national anthem. Thank you, Staff Sergeant. Now I'd like to welcome Leon Thornton, a GPO employee and U.S. Marine Corps veteran, to the podium to lead us in a Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Please repeat after me with our hands on our hearts. I pledge allegiance of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thanks, Leon. It's now my pleasure to welcome Chaplain Colonel James Key of the Joint Task Force, National Capital Region, for today's invocation. Colonel.
Thank you. Let us bow our heads and close our eyes as we go to God in prayer. Dear God, today our hearts overflow with gratitude for the men and women who have selflessly placed themselves in harm's way to safeguard the freedoms we hold dear. Their sacrifice, both seen and unseen, have shaped the fabric of our nation's history. With each step they took, they paved the way for a future defined by liberty and opportunity. And so, dear God, on this day, on this great day, as we gather to honor their service, may our gratitude echo through the heavens a chorus of appreciation that spans generations. Grant us the wisdom to recognize their sacrifices and courage to live lives worthy of their efforts. And then finally, dear God, please protect our veterans and their families from loneliness and want. Give them lives of joy and peace both today and surely tomorrow. For it is in your mighty and liberating and sustaining name we pray on this great getting up morning. We all say together in your name, amen and amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Please, everybody take your seats. Now it is an honor to welcome to the podium GPO's Deputy Director, Brian Pearl. Brian is a retired U.S. Army Colonel, and he will introduce our very special guest this morning.
As Steve said, I'm a retired colonel and a veteran, much like the majority of the folks in this audience. But I want to lead with, I'm going to break script here. You know, you prepare all these remarks, but I'm going to break script. We're a little bit spoiled here at GPO with that color guard and that singing of the national anthem. And I just want to recognize them up front because they're some of the finest ceremonial soldiers and infantrymen. So thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you here and to have many of you joining us virtually. I have been here at GPO for about 4 months. I appreciate the warm welcome and conversations with many of you. It is very important to honor the services of our veterans. I am a veteran, and I know many of our GPO teammates have served and are proud veterans like me. Thank you for all you did to protect our way of life. Now let me set the stage. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, located at Arlington National Cemetery, was established in 1921 to honor American service members whose remains are unidentified. It is a powerful symbol of respect and sacrifice and remembrance for all unknown soldiers who served and died for the United States. And just to give you a number, that number is about 80,000 service members that are missing or unaccounted for. Think about that for a second. 80,000 across the globe. And that's just World War II, the Cold War, Korea, and Vietnam. They never made it home, so that's that symbol. The tomb is guarded 24/7 by the tomb guards, also called sentinels, from the elite 3rd U.S. Army Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard. These sentinels volunteer for this role and stand watch in all weather conditions. To qualify for this prestigious post, they undergo rigorous training and pass challenging examinations. Since 1948, the Old Guard stationed at Fort Myer, Virginia, has upheld this solemn duty. They also must maintain a meticulous appearance, master the various guard changes and ceremonies conducted, and demonstrate verbal and written knowledge of over 12 different poems and 200 Arlington National Cemetery grave sites. That leads me to our guest speaker, U.S. Army Specialist Jessica Kwiatkowski. Did I get that right, Jessica? All right, want to make sure. I had to have her rehearse that with me at least 3 times before I came in here. Jessica is a sentinel with the 3rd U.S. Army Infantry Regiment, and she has made history as the first female infantry soldier to earn the prestigious Guard Tomb of the Unknown Soldier Identification Badge, which I understand is the second least awarded badge in the United States Army. A native of Lancaster, New York, Specialist Kwiatkowski joined the Army in 2022, underwent infantry training at Fort Moore, Georgia, and was assigned to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington Cemetery. And when Jessica walks up here, you're going to see a blue cord on her right shoulder. She obviously wears that with pride, as all infantrymen do. And not too long ago, females were not allowed to do that. So we broke some ground. And I'd venture to say you may be the first I've seen wearing it, Jessica. I don't get out much anymore. But she obviously has a big smile on her face. She wears it with pride. And for all of us, that blue cord represents 06 and below, and in an infantry unit, and worn by an infantryman, and infantry trained. Since November 2022, Jessica has completed more than 525 ceremonial walks, 140 guard changes, and numerous wreath-laying ceremonies. Kwiatkowski's dedication and commitment earned her the Sentinel title and undoubtedly inspired many. She completed her final walk at the tomb on October 4th, 2024, cementing her legacy as a trailblazer in military history, and that's truly what she is. In 2023, a video of her guarding the tomb during a ceremony thunderstorm went viral, gaining the public's attention. We're going to play that video now.
If you want to know what dedication to duty means, there is no better example than the 21 steps of Private First Class Jessica Kwiatkowski.
I am a tomb guard, and this is my job.
The 21 steps symbolize a 21-gun salute at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery, kept under round-the-clock guard, no matter the conditions. Kwiatkowski remembers the first time she saw the solemn ritual.
It was like, honestly, like seeing like a superstar in front of you. Like you're just like awestruck.
Then one day last month, it rained, really rained, with wind gusting to 85 miles an hour.
It was coming down so hard, it got all my glasses and I couldn't see outside.
How do you walk a straight line if you can't see?
I was just trying my best, honestly, and the wind was not helping at all.
And there was lightning.
It made me jump a little because it shook the ground a little bit.
There's a green guard box she could have taken shelter in.
Why not stay in the box?
It's just my job, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I would rather be out in the rain than stay in the box.
We would never have known about Private Kwiatkowski's dedication had not a tourist posted this video. 21 steps that say it all. David Martin at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, Arlington National Cemetery.
Specialist Kwiatkowski, I welcome you to the podium and thank you and your family for joining us today.
Well, I would like to say good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Mr. Pearl, for having me here, and GPO. But thank you all for being here, and obviously, happy Veterans Day. With those of you who are veterans, would you please stand if you can? Let's give a big round of applause for these boys. Thank you all for serving our country in each of your services and throughout many of our decades. I stand here today in a shadow of your accomplishments and traditions. My name is Specialist Jessica Kwiatkowski, badge number 715 at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. I want to start by saying I am not the one to give this speech. I am a soldier, I am not a veteran. But I will be a voice for the voiceless, the forgotten, the humble. I may not be a veteran, but I know them. I met them, I have laughed with them, and I bonded with them. As a sentinel at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, we see and experience a lot. We're surrounded by people and we're on display, yet alone with those known but to God. But some of my most cherished moments from my time at the tomb are the days when we receive visits from the honor flights. On those days, I met so many great Americans. I heard so many great stories and far too many inappropriate jokes from all you guys. Thank you for that. I did enjoy them a lot. Spending time with them reminded me that the years may change, but our experiences are remarkably similar. We share something that few will know, a common bond to our brothers, to our sisters, and our sisters, to our left and to our right, a shared purpose that drives us every day. Our military veterans are truly a national treasure, and we must do all that we can to support them. I'd like to take a moment and introduce my favorite veteran in the audience. That is my grandfather, Lawrence. My story begins with him and many other families and my friends at my home in New York. My grandfather is a Vietnam veteran. He served a tour at the 39th Infantry Division during some of the heaviest fighting in the Vietnam War. Upon his return, like nearly 3 million others, he returned to his career at the steel industry. Our family was like many others. You knew you had a veteran. You're proud that your relative had served, but you knew so little about what they did. The one thing was for certain, I knew I wanted to serve. I just didn't know how or when. So after I graduated high school, I went to college, and I was just a college kid trying to get my life together. So like every rational teenager, in the middle of my semester, I dropped out. And this was when my parents were on a very nice vacation in Florida. And I only brought up the fact that I wanted to go into the service to them. But little did they know, I actually already signed a contract, and I was going out to boot camp in February on Valentine's Day. So really great way to spend my Valentine's Day in a hotel. So for Mom, if she is listening, tell her I'm sorry, and I'll call her later on, because I know she'll have an earful for me. But though one thing was for certain, I knew I wanted to serve. I just didn't know how when. But after I enlisted, I proudly but hesitatingly called my grandfather. So on this call, at first he was very proud, and then he asked me what my job was, and I told him infantry, and I just watched his face drop. He was like, the infantry is no fun, and I know that now, so thank you for the advice, Grandpa, the heads up. But though enlisting, I became a part of a long list of accomplished service members who joined while withholding a little bit of truth, like Private First Class Don Bullock, who forged his birth certificate and entered the Marines at the age of 14. Corporal Raymond Powell didn't weigh enough, so he ate a bunch of food and candy before his weigh-in. But when that didn't work, he taped sand-filled socks to his legs. Private Robin Harold was almost too short and too light. Yet she joined after her husband when he passed away in Vietnam. As I said, the years may change, but we're all cut from the same cloth. Our military and our nation rely on men and women that are eager to serve. Today I want to share with you that one thing that had its greatest impact on me as a young soldier. It's the people. Behind the numbers are just people. People with unbelievable stories, struggles, and lived life. People like my grandfather became an icon to me. He helped me out through many of my things. When I told him I was trying to enlist, he gave me a lot of advice, which helped out a lot. Where our military relies on these men and women to serve, it is through their roles in their communities as veterans that we have the greatest nation the world has known. Our nation has nearly 18 million veterans. Over 8 million veterans are over the age of 65. That's nearly half of our veterans. These great heroes are getting older, and their stories are continuing to go untold. They estimate that nearly 5,000 veterans will pass away in the coming year. Many of these veterans will go to the graves, leaving their families with no understanding of their time in the military. For many veterans, it might be too painful to recall or recount. It was just a part of their life. For others, they just simply might have just never been asked. In the age of endless information, it is a shame that we are losing so many great voices that helped create a fabric of a union of our nation. I ask you, what are you doing to make sure that these stories are not getting lost? And while our veteran population grows older, I must talk about our current generation. Less than 1% of Americans today serve in the military. While this number is shocking, there's another statistic that is far more concerning. Nearly 3/4 of our service members are immediate member of a family member who has served in the service. In other words, it is a small percentage of families that feed our all-volunteer force. I don't share this to alarm anyone. I simply hope to show why. Why it's important to recognize our military and our veterans. I stand before you today. I am a beneficiary of a changed nation. Rarely a day passes that I'm not thanked for my service, from people too young and old. Our fellow citizens recognize our freedoms that we have dependent upon a strong military. I'm always somewhat embarrassed to accept this praise, and to this day, I still do not know how to accept it. But not every generation experienced a heartfelt thanks of a grateful nation. My grandfather told me stories of his service in Vietnam. Imagine a draftee returning home from a war in shame. For some here today, you don't have to imagine that hard. Those memories are real, and I encourage you to share those with others. Help our country understand so we don't repeat our mistakes. Some generations did not receive the same level of opportunity that we have today. We can't undo the past, but we can change the present. The numbers of programs and resources available to our current veterans are truly amazing, and some don't know what it feels like to have their military service accepted as they enter their workforce. I went to college on a softball scholarship. I learned that I loved my sport, but I did not like my college. It was not a right fit for me. Some will look down upon our service members for not attending college, like there's something wrong with them or it was just their only option. It's far from the truth. The reality is that our military has and will continue to offer a place that builds invaluable skills to our young people, to offer skills that are demanded in every career. Veterans improve our workplace in the same way they improve our communities. As we remember our veterans today, I ask you all to consider how we can better honor this important group, how we can recognize their contribution to our country more than just one day a year. How can we share their stories on behalf of a grateful nation? As you leave here today, I simply ask you to talk to our veterans more often. Listen to their experience, spend some time with them. Their stories are pretty crazy and they will blow your mind. And you will also gain a friend for life. Thank you all and happy Veterans Day.
Hey team, how you doing? All right. So thanks, Jessica. Thank you so much. That was a great story. We appreciate your time with us here. You've had a great career so far, and you've got a great future ahead of you. So keep it up. So I also want to give a big thanks to all of our other teammates, from communications to security to everybody else who helped make today possible. So thank you all for doing that, and all of our special guests today. Let's give them a big GPO thank you. So GPO has a very proud tradition of honoring our veterans, and I am only playing a very small part here. But another recent, maybe not tradition, but habit, has been others recognizing GPO for its willingness to accept veterans. So I'm pleased to announce that Forbes has once again named GPO one of America's best employers for veterans. This is our third year in a row for that. So thank you. That's all because of you. Congratulations. So Forbes will make their formal announcement a little bit later today. But we've always got to remember that about 1 out of every 3 of our teammates here at GPO served. They're veterans. From the Civil War to today, veterans have contributed to GPO's mission of providing government information to the American people. Once again, being named one of the best places to work for veterans shows that GPO is just a great place to work overall, and again, that's all due to you guys. So, just one other thing as I close out here. Come January, President Trump will be our new Commander-in-Chief. I know that each and every one of you are going to do your best to deliver the smooth transition and set our next president up for success. For our veterans, you're wearing a different uniform now, but the mission is just as critical. So, thank you very much. This has been a great program, and I'm turning it back over to Steve. Steve?
Thanks, Hugh. And thanks, everyone, for coming. A special thanks to everyone who worked so hard and put their heart and soul into this ceremony this morning. Today, we also celebrate the Marine Corps' 249th birthday with a cake-cutting ceremony. So I'll ask all of our GPO Marines, and that includes families and friends of the Corps, to make their way to the Carl Hayden Room for a short cake-cutting celebration. This concludes our 2024 GPO Veterans Day celebration, and thank you very much.